Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to unbox these two coolers from Deepcool. First is the Assassin 4 White and then next is the AK620 Digital White. I bought the Assassin 4 for 5,900 pesos or 101 US dollars, while the AK620 for 4,500 pesos or 77 US dollars. Both are expensive, but the black and basic ones are cheaper for 5,800 and 3,320 respectively. While it's just 100 pesos or $2 cheaper for Assassin 4, the basic AK620 is really affordable at $56. Anyway, let's unbox the Assassin 4 first. Like most Deepcool products, it has an outer cover which you have to remove, and then you can open the carton box normally. The cooler is padded by a thick foam and you can see the cooler underneath. It has an accessory box. As for the accessories, it has a screwdriver hex key combo, grease cleaner, spatula for thermal paste, mounts, manual, thermal paste, and fan shroud. It has an Intel backplate for 115X and 1700, AM4 mounting kit, mounting screws, fan screws, and Intel mounting kit. This is the cooler itself. As for the cooler, it has an exhaust fan at the back. To access the middle fan, you can remove the top part which is magnetic. To remove the fan, it is locked by this mechanism which you can press on both sides and pull the fan out. As for the installation, I'll be using the B650E-I from Asus, and the processor is a Ryzen 7 7800X3D. First step is to remove the AM5 mounting brackets. Next is to install the Deepcool AM5 mounting screws. If you're a bit confused by the manual due to the colors seeming inverted, don't worry, the correct orientation is with the protruding screw at the top. In other words, the black part should be at the bottom. Install it to the backplate screw holes. As for the mounting brackets, these should be at the top and bottom. And as for its screw holes, use D for AM4 and AM5. Screw the mounting brackets. You can use your hands first and then use a screwdriver to tighten. Put in thermal paste to the CPU. Remove the sticker from the bottom of the cooler. And as for the cooler placement, the exposed fan should be positioned away from the RAM. It should be placed near the I/O shroud. Anyway, remove the top panel from the cooler. Pull the middle fan out. Again, I/O shield, RAM. Align the screw of the cooler to the mount and secure the cooler by screwing it 3 turns at a time. Insert the middle fan back and make sure that the orientation is correct. The fan should blow towards the back I/O and then cover it. Ensure that you have mounted it correctly by looking around the motherboard. As you can see, the cooler will extend beyond the motherboard, so make sure that your case can fit this. I double checked the manual 3 times and this is the real suggested layout. Anyway, plug the fan to the fan header and you're done with this. As for concerns with this cooler, for installing the CPU power connector, you may want to remove the rear fan first. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, the cooler extends beyond the motherboard, which can make it incompatible with some cases. Finding a compact case that can accommodate this cooler is already challenging, but finding one that also accommodates the overhang is even more difficult. However, note that this cooler is compatible with the CH160, as the CH160 has allowances to fit this cooler. Moving on with the AK620, again like most Deepcool products, it has an outer cover which you have to remove. And then again, you can open the carton box normally. Upon opening, you'd see the accessory box on the right and the cooler on the left. As for the accessory box, it contains thermal paste, fan splitter, screwdriver, mounting screws, Intel brackets, Intel backplate, AM5 brackets, and lastly the manual. This is the cooler itself. The cooler has 2 fans. By removing the front fan, you'd see the wirings for the display. Basically, USB pins and ARGB. Anyway, moving on with the installation, as I've already removed the default AM5 mounting clips, I'll proceed by putting in the mounting screw. The screws and mechanism are similar to the Assassin 4. Even the mounting bracket has the position for AM5. You will then have to screw the mounting bracket to secure it. Again, use hands to position it first, and then use the screwdriver to tighten. Put in thermal paste to the CPU, and before installing the cooler, I remove the top display first to remove the middle fan. This will make the screws of the cooler to be accessible. Remove the sticker from the bottom of the cooler, and while installing it, I find it annoying that the display is dangling. So I also removed the front fan and laid down the display properly. Screw the cooler to the mount by screwing it 3 turns at a time. Before proceeding, ensure that the cooler is properly screwed to the motherboard. Make sure that it is not lopsided and all sides are securely screwed. Once screwed properly, install the middle fan, mount the display and cable manage it, and then install the front fan. You may want to position the fan cables below so that it will have a cleaner look. As for my motherboard, the USB front panel is just in front of the fan. So I remove the fan first, plug the USB cable, and then reinstall the fan again. Plug the ARGB to the ARGB header, and then plug the fans to the fan splitter, and then plug the splitter to the motherboard. Lastly, I peeled the plastic from the display. For the display to work properly, you need to download the Deepcool digital setup from their website and install it on your PC. You may need to restart your computer before the software can connect to the cooler. As a gentle reminder for handling this cooler, ensure to hold it on the sides rather than on the top, as the display might disengage with the cooler, causing it to fall and damage the motherboard. As for my benchmarks, I find my data to be lacking since I only tested the 7800X3D, which is a relatively easy to cool CPU. The Deepcool Assassin 4 performed 1 degree Celsius better on average compared to the AK620 digital. The conclusion that I can draw from this is that if you are just cooling the 7800X3D, it might be more economical to use a cheaper cooler like the AK620 rather than the Assassin 4. The AK620 can cost as little as 3,200 pesos, whereas the Assassin 4 is priced at 5,800 pesos, making the Assassin 4 80% more expensive or 2,600 pesos more. However, if you are cooling hotter CPUs, that's a different discussion. Anyway, that's it for this video. Do let me know in the comments below on what you think. Thanks for watching. Do like or dislike and subscribe for more unboxing, SFF builds, and benchmarks. Bye!